Good morning, friends. It's Terrific Tuesday. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Hope everybody had a fabulous weekend. Angie, good morning. Pam, thank you so much for the heart me. Kay, good morning. Have a seat. Good morning. Leaping Llamas in the house. Welcome in, everybody. Today we're working on a corner to corner granny stitch blanket, little baby blanket action. Isn't that color pretty? This is Lion Brand ice cream yarn. It's a 3-weight yarn, 100% acrylic. One of my favorites for baby blankets. And this is in the colorway Ube. Dog Mama, good morning. Welcome in. Joyful Rosetta, thank you so much for the heart me. Just a Gen X girl in the house. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Hope everybody had a fabulous weekend. I'll tell you what, y'all. I am so sore from working in the yarn barn. I know that sounds silly, playing around with yarn, but man, lifting all those boxes and totes and whatnot, whew, I'm sore, y'all. I'm a little sore. So anyhow, MJ, good morning. Welcome in. Good morning. Good morning. The deer are out in the pasture, y'all. If you're watching on YT, you can see the deer. They arrived just when I was getting on live this morning. Yeah, Liz, we had big storms last night. So lots of rain and the thunder and lightning show we had. Woo wee. Woo wee indeed. But yeah, we're all doing well. So Karen, good morning. Um Joyful Rosetta, thank you so much for the rose. Just a Gen X girl, thank you so much for the paper crane. Love that little guy. He's fun. Oh, you lost power. We didn't lose power last night, Liz. We actually it was just lots of rain. I don't even know if the wind was that bad. Hey, Debbie, good morning. Welcome in. Yeah, I can see 4 deer out there on the YT. Oh, there's 5. They're here for the corn this morning. And our pasture's starting to get green. Did y'all notice that? Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's really starting to green up in there. Hook and Heart, good morning. Thank you so much for the heart me. So anyhow, I thought, you know what, this week, guys, since I'm kind of coming off of the working on the she shed yarn barn, whatever you want to call it. I um i was like, I can't do a lot of stitch talk today. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a lot of stitch talk this whole week, if I'm being honest with you. I really did a lot on Saturday. We were supposed to get rain on Sunday, which we did get rain, and I was glad I did so much on Saturday. Gosh, Mr. Wheeler was such a big help. Such a big help. Yeah, Mom, good morning. Yeah, the rain is really greening up the pasture. A little rain and sunshine. That's the recipe for growing grass. Mr. Wheeler's going to be like, oh, I got to get on the mower. What the heck? That's what happens. Hey, Sue, good morning. Maggie, good morning. Welcome in. Welcome in. This is one of Maggie's favorite colorways. I think this is the colorway Ube. Right now, I'm working on a corner to corner granny blanket this morning, but Maggie has a cardigan in this yarn, and this ube is so soft. It's so pretty. I just love the colors. So much fun. Anyhow, this is Lion Brand ice cream yarn. Hey, Arlene, good morning. Queen 530, good morning. Welcome in. Hope everybody had a fabulous weekend. So, I'm sure what y'all want to hear about and have me talk about is that fabulous yarn barn we're working on. So, the yarn barn is going to be a little different than a normal, like, she shed, that's so hard to say, setup. And that is in the fact that I'm not going to be out there working. I'm going to be using that simply for yarn storage. Now, with that being said, I am going to put a little couch out there because, when you're going through yarn, you got to have a place to kind of sit and go through your stash and see what you're going to work with and all that. And so this is kind of my overflow yarn room because I'll tell you what, we've had a lot of boxes and totes chilling around the house. And I told Mr. Wheeler, I'm like, look, it doesn't all fit in the Red Heart Super Saver Suites. So we need another little place to be able to put all these different yarns that I've got. So that is kind of the whole point of doing this yarn barn. So we are not going to insulate it. Now we do have a small window AC unit that we had back in Arizona. Yes, Gen X girl, this is an overflow. I still have my yarn room, guys. So yeah, I know, I know. Do not judge. I have a lot of yarn. We have a whole bedroom that is full of yarn. with a full yarn wall in that. And now I have a yarn barn. I have the Wheeler, just come shopping for yarn here. We have our own little store, I guess you could say. Queen, thank you so much for the donut. Yeah, so it's a hodgepodge of different yarn that we have out there. So my next thing I'm going to start, I got the yarn wall completely finished. I put a little video up for you guys to see that. And yeah, the Red Heart Super Saver Suites, where my mom stays when she comes to visit. That room is still full of yarn, guys. This is all my overflow yarn. So, um, Joyful Rosetta, when I make this baby blanket, I usually get about 1,200 yards. Guys, we're just doing a granny stitch this morning, so I can kind of talk and not have to do a lot of stitch talk. So we're just doing 3 double crochets into each space, and I'll show you when we get to the corner. But we started this in the corner. The best tutorial for this, guys, is Hooked by Robin. If you want to make one of these, but we started right here in the corners. I started with a magic ring and I put a total of 5 double crochets into that magic ring. And then we started going back and when you're on your edges of your blanket, what you do is instead of putting 3, you actually put 4 grannies. And the reason why is we're going to come back and we'll attach the border to this one. A lot of you guys have seen me make these blankets quite extensively. I do a lot of these. And then when you're in the middle, so right now as I'm crocheting, we're in the middle, we're just doing our 3 double crochets. But this way we can talk about the yarn barn. Yes, this is the colorway Ube. This is where we're at right now. So right now I'm doing the increase. We're getting bigger. And I usually make this about, I'm looking to do a size of 26 by 36 for this project. And right now, let's measure. We're about 19 inches. So I still have some more inches to go before we start just stacking up our stitches. But this is Lion Brand ice cream in Ube. It's a 3-weight, 100% acrylic, machine washable and dryable. And I'm using a G6 4mm hook, like a G6. So it's really, really pretty. This is a great yarn if you just need to whip up a quick little baby blanket. And this pattern is fabulous as well. So yeah, we're keeping the yarn room that we have in the house, and I'm still going to be sitting right here in this old chair crocheting. I'm not going to be out in the yarn barn doing my crafts. I know a lot of people do that, and my mom has a she shed in Arizona, and she goes down to her she shed and she does her scrapbooking or if she's crocheting or stuff like that. That's traditionally how a she shed is used. And my mom's is all insulated with the drywall, the whole nine, all that. And for mine, we're not going to finish it out there. We're just going to leave it and put the yarn in there. Now, one thing I do want to do is I need to come back with plastic bags. So when your yarn comes, a lot of times it comes in the plastic bags. Some of them, though, are not in bags. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and anything that isn't in a plastic bag, I'm going to put into a bag. And I know that sounds like a lot of work, but I think it'll help just with any kind of potential moisture or anything like that. So that is going to be another step. But the first step was just to get the yarn out of the house, out of my living room, out of my closet, that kind of thing. So that's what I did this weekend. And I will tell you guys, Mr. Wheeler was a huge help to me. So what I did is where the yarn barn is, it faces out to the house and it's on, I don't remember what side. It's on one side of the house and we've got an entry door that goes out to that side. And so what I did is I brought all the boxes to that front porch, and then we've got a little Ranger. So it's one of those little uh, 4x4 little things with the dump truck bed on it. It kind of does the whole dump thing. So I told my husband, I said, "Hey," I said, I carried one tote out to the yarn barn. Here I am to the corner. Hang on one second, guys. Let's talk through this. So in when you're doing your corners or your sides of your blanket, I should say, you're going to have a total of 4 stitches. So we have 4 and then we had a turning chain that counted as our 4th stitch. So when we're doing the edges, we're going to be adding an extra stitch because this is where we're going to be attaching our baby blanket border, okay? So as I finish my last granny cluster, in between the last and second to last stitch, right in that space, I'm going to put 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the 3 stitches counts as my cluster. This will be where I attach that border. Now I'm ready to turn my work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 2. Now some people like to chain 3 here. It depends on the height of your stitches. I find that a chain of 2 works better to keep my edges nice and straight. If I do 3, it works out that it's kind of bowed out and doesn't look as good. So after I chain 2, I'm going to turn my whole work. So I just kind of flip it over. And now I'm going to start working back the other direction. So this chain of 2 counts as my first double crochet. Now what I need to do is I need to go right into that space between my first and second stitch, and we're going to do 3 more double crochets. So we end up with a total of 4 double crochets for that first stitch out. And you can see when you put those stitches in, it kind of helps to separate that so you can see as we go back along, we'll be able to attach our border there. Now I don't do any chaining or anything. I'm going to skip to this next space right here, and I'm going to start with our double crochet. So I'm going to do 3 double crochets. In crochet, when you put 3 of them like this in the same place, we call this a granny cluster. So into every space, I'm going to be doing 3 doubles, those little clusters, and I'm not going to chain. So as I finish this one, I don't chain. I just come right to the next space here and then 3 doubles. 4 daughters, good morning. Welcome in. Thank you so much for the Go Populars. I appreciate that. Amy, good morning. Welcome in. Welcome in. Guys, if you're just joining on, this pattern I'm working on is called the corner to corner granny stitch. I'm not doing a whole lot of stitch talk today. We're doing a lot of yarn barn talk today. Oh, y'all, if anybody watches over on YT and you like my pasture cameras, I will tell you right now there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 8 deer at the corn pile right now over on YT. You can see it live right here out in my basically in my driveway. We have a whole bunch of deer coming in this morning to say hello and get a little snack. We had a huge rainstorm last night. So much rain, so much lightning. Oh, Mama Deer just gave one of the babies a little thump. She lifts up her leg when she's like, "Get away from the corn pile. This is my space." She give that little kid a thump on the head. So yeah, so that's kind of anything. Anyhow, that's squirrel moment. Sorry, y'all. Todd asked a great question. So that's kind of where I left off with my yarn barn story. So um my next thing is to come back through after I get all the yarn out there, and we're going to I'm going to put everything in plastic, seal it in plastic, just to keep the moisture and humidity and all that kind of stuff kind of protected. And then I'm also going to have some of these, these little silica things. I'm going to put one of those in each of my plastic bags. Now, some of them are already sealed. If they're sealed in bags, I'm not going to do anything with it. But Todd asked the question, what are you going to do about your natural fibers? And my answer to that is my natural fibers are still going to be inside. So basically, as I mentioned before, this yarn barn, guys, is not replacing the Super Saver Sweets. Okay, I know this is going to sound crazy to some of y'all, but I have a whole room that is my yarn room inside. The yarn barn is for my overflow yarn stash, the stuff that basically has been in boxes and totes in the closet in the living room. I'm just trying to get that out of the house and kind of free up some working space. And so the yarn barn is not going to be a place that I go out and necessarily craft and crochet out there. It is more like think of it as like a yarn storage room. Okay. So that's kind of the goal. But I still wanted to do the yarn wall because you guys know, like so for those that don't know, I'm kind of in a, like remote area, right? We have 5,000 people in our town. We don't have a lot of big box stores. Okay. We don't have the big Michaels. That one, if I do that, I have to go an hour away. Um, the closest thing we have is Hoblob. And that is, we're getting it. There's a new one that they just built that's about 25 minutes from me, but The other one, I used to have to drive an hour. Of course, we've got Wally World, and our Wally World is small. It doesn't have a huge selection. So I buy most of my yarn um, online, and I just kind of have it here. And then, yes, Sparky said it best. It's your personal yarn store. So when I want to make a new baby blanket or a new project, I go to the Wheeler Yarn Stash and I say, "Oh no, yeah, let's do this. Pull this color out. Pull this color out. Put them together. Yeah, can I make a blanket with that?" Or all of those things. So anyhow, all of my cotton is going to stay in the house. I have a whole storage cubicle already for that in my office. All of my 3 weight I'm going to keep in the house. And then, of course, I still have my full yarn wall of 4 weight. So the only thing that's out in the barn will be all acrylic yarn. And so, anyhow, I got the yarn wall done. I have one more little um, cube. They're like 12 by 12s. I have one more of that to fill in. And then after that, my next thing, I started working on this on Sunday. I didn't know if I was going to have enough oomph because I'll tell you what, I I was exhausted Saturday, and I know you guys can tell I'm still kind of exhausted. I did work yesterday, but boy, I'm just drained, y'all. And so anyhow, yeah, I think my next step is to work on the shoe rack situation. So I have a lot of cakes. And you guys know I really like using a shoe rack to put my yarn cakes on. And so I started that on Sunday. I got 2 of them installed with yarn on them, and they are looking great. And I have more shoe racks coming. They're supposed to arrive on Thursday. So this weekend will be the weekend that I really work on that cake wall. So on one side, the shed is a 10 by 20. The side where the yarn wall is a 10-foot side where we put that rack and all the yarn. And then it has 2 windows in it. And then on the other side, of course, is the other 10-foot wall. So my plan is to put a little love seat that we have on that wall with a little coffee table, right? Because I want to have somewhere to like set stuff as I'm trying to go through it and make colors and that kind of stuff. And so, anyhow, I'm going to have that little couch out there. And then my plan for the shoe racks is on each side of the couch. So you can picture like this is the 10-foot wall, right? We're going to have the couch on that side. It's like a 6-foot couch. And then on each side, I'm going to have like a shoe rack that comes down for the cakes. And then above the couch, you know how like normally you would have like a picture above your couch or something like that? I'm going to actually do shoe racks above the couch. They're going to be shortened shoe racks. I'm having to do a little Wheeler redneck innovation. You guys know how I like to do that stuff. And so I'm shortening those shoe racks to fit above the couch. And then, so basically, all around the couch will be like this cool yarn cake display, I guess you could say. So the cakes will sit on their sides like this so I can see all of the colors and then be able to pick out what I want to work with. But again, those are acrylic. So all the acrylic out there, all the natural fibers are more susceptible to um, moisture and that kind of stuff. I think rodents are more attracted to them. So clearly, we could have an issue with bugs and critters, right? But I am going to do the necessary precautions. Mr. Wheeler will be spraying outside the yarn barn, for all of those type of things. Willow Tree, this blanket that I'm doing is called the Corner to Corner Granny. If you're just coming on, we're doing some yarn barn talk today, but I'm working on a Corner to Corner Granny. The best tutorial I have found for this is Hooked by Robin on YT. She has a great tutorial for this. You start here in the corner, and I started with a magic ring. You can also do a chain situation there if you would like. I think she shows how to do the chain. But I did a magic ring and I put 5 double crochets in. When you are on the side of your blanket here, we're doing a total of 4 double crochets. So we're going to, in some cases, do a chain that will count as your double crochet, but on the edge, you do a total of 4. What that does is it allows you to attach your border right here when you get your baby blanket done. And when I do my border, I come back and I put 2 single crochets in each of these all the way around, and then I will start my ruffle. So that is basically how I finish this. But this is the colorway Ube. This is Lion Brand ice cream yarn. It's one of my favorites for baby blankets. It's really, really pretty yarn. It's very soft, 100% acrylic. I am using a G6 this morning. This is a 3 weight, and I really like a G6, a 4 millimeter hook with this yarn. Hooked by Robin is her name. Hooked by Robin. Mothballs work for mice and rats, but if you have animals like dogs or cat, don't let them get to it. Okay, all right, good to know. The yarn barn has a couple little lofts in there also, but yeah, we're gonna do a lot of that. We have, of course, squirrels and chipmunks. We have lots of critters here. We're kind of in the country, so that kind of goes with the territory. We do have a lot of rat snakes also, and so they help to keep the rodent population here in check. They're the good snakes that come along and help us out. So yeah, all of that stuff. Hey, Summer Star, good morning. And so yeah, my next phase to do is to get all of the shoe racks modified, assembled, hanging on the walls. Then I'll go back and start putting them with the cakes. So that's my next step. I do need to get a couple area rugs. We're not going to put insulation. We're not going to do any flooring. Really, this is going to be like a storage situation. But I wanted it to look nice where I could go out, see the yarn, have a little, place to sit down, kind of go through some stuff. If I want to spend some time out there organizing, have it be like a comfortable little space. So I want it to be pretty and fun, but I'm not necessarily going to go out there and crochet and do my crafting and stuff. I really like my recliner, the one I'm sitting in right now. It's my favorite. And I like being close to the bathroom, as I am in my 50s now. It's sometimes I sit here crochet a little too long and I'm like, "Oh, I really need to go." And, if I am out in the yarn barn, I've got to come all the way in the house. So, nature calls. It's nice having the bathroom right here when I'm working in the living room. I also like to have my TVs going. I like to watch, some shows. I have the critter cams going. And so I don't want to really give all of that up. I like being close to the kitchen. I can get myself a little snack. Obviously, all those things are totally possible with the yarn barn too. But old Wheeler, she likes her snacks, she likes her bathroom, she likes her recliner, she likes her TVs. And also I like being here with Mr. Wheeler. So, in the evenings after work, I sit here and crochet, we watch a show together, and that's kind of our quality time. And of course, in the morning, before work, I sit here with you guys well, right now we're on our 2 hour schedule, so the pressure is off. I can ramble as much as I want for up to 2 hours. How about that? So, yeah, and I think it would be really hard for me to live stream from the yarn barn. The internet, I could use the Wi-Fi. It does reach out there, but it's a little sketch. I could run an Ethernet out there, but eventually we will run an Ethernet out there because on one side of the yarn barn, it faces down to the pond. Hey, Chris, good morning. Welcome in from Pennsylvania. I'm working on a little granny corner to corner action this morning, is what I'm working on. But Granny Stitch says the Granny Stitch is real easy. I can just kind of crochet and yickety yak with y'all. So that's what we're doing this morning. The side of the yarn barn that faces towards the pond, what we're going to do is I'm going to make another camera that faces the pond. There's a lot of critters and action down at the pond that a lot of times we don't even know is happening because we're inside. Of course, we've got walls around us, we have windows, but we have uh, wild birds that come in, and sometimes we'll be on the pond. Um, we've got a great blue heron that comes in to the pond. He'll be coming in, or she'll be coming in more now. Um, Now all the frogs are out of hibernation. And so what'll happen is we'll have a bunch of tadpoles out there in the pond. We used to have fish in the pond, but it went dry one year, and we had turtles out there. The turtles dug in the bank of the pond, and they wrecked the integrity of the sidewall. And so now during the summer, it's even more so. We lose a lot of water. Mr. Wheeler needs to like dig it out deeper and all that. But that heron will come in, and he'll get some little tadpoles. He loves those. And we also have a green heron. The green heron is absolutely beautiful. And we had baby green herons also a couple years ago. So the green heron will come in, and I just love watching all those little critters out at the pond. Of course, the deer go to the pond and get water. There's a natural creek below us on the other side of the driveway, and that's where the deer go mostly to get the water. But sometimes they do go out to the pond as well, especially when it's raining like this and it's got a lot of, new flow coming into it. So here we are, guys. We're back to the very edge of our blanket. And after you finish your last granny cluster, okay, that's what I've been doing, 3 double crochets into the space. As you come to your last stitch, you'll remember from the row below, we did a total of 4 double crochets here. This chain on the very last stitch counted as a double. So on your edges, instead of doing 3 double crochets, we're actually doing 4. So what I'm going to do, I'm not chaining or anything. I'm going to skip right in between the second to last and last stitch, and we're going to put 4 double crochets right into that space. So the extra stitch that we have here, the fourth magical stitch, that is what we're going to use to attach our baby blanket border. So you can see here, after we add those stitches, it kind of sets that apart, allows that stitch to kind of stand alone. And what we're going to do is we're going to use that to attach our border. And so every edge you'll have 4 grannies. And then you'll also have one where you are chaining. So right now I need to turn my work. So I'm going to chain 2. My chain of 2 counts as a double crochet. Now, if you feel like your chain of 2 is not tall enough, you could always do a chain of 3. Then all I'm going to do is flip my work over, and now I'm going to start working back the other direction. So as I mentioned, this counts for my first double crochet. And then into that space right there, we're going to put 3 more double crochets. So 1, 2, oops, 2, and 3. So we end up with a total of 4 stitches. Now I'm just going to start working all the way across with more granny clusters. So we're going to put 3 double crochets, 3 doubles, 3 doubles. Okay, so no chaining. Immediately move to the next space, and we're going to do 3 double crochets. Again, no chain. As I come out of that, I'm going to come right here to the next space. And then once again, 3 double crochets. And we're just going to repeat that all the way across. Now I've been yakking and crocheting, and I need to measure this. So we started here in the corner with a magic ring, and then I put 5 double crochets, because for your corner you have your 3 doubles for your granny cluster, and then you have 1 on each side once again for that border. So that's how we started, and then I started working up, and it just keeps getting larger and larger. Now I want this blanket to be about 26 by 36. I'm going to come back and add a border all the way around it. So the finished size here for the middle, I usually subtract off about 3 inches. So if I want this side, the short side, to be 26 inches, I make it 23. That gives me on each side, I can do about an inch and a half border. So I'll probably do a scallop border on this. That's my favorite kind of finishing to do. But after I do the extra edge and I do a little third loop action on it, and then I'll come back and add that shell, or either the shell or a scallop, it'll work out to be about an inch and a half. So inch and a half on each side will get me to that 26 inches. So as I'm working, I pause and we'll measure. Right now, you can't see it, it's off screen, but we're at 21 inches. You'll just have to trust me on that. wink, wink. We're at 21 inches. So we still have some more rows of this to go. Then what we're going to do is we're going to increase on one side and we're going to keep one side the same size. So let's keep going here. And then once I get it to the height that we need, then we're going to do a decrease on both sides and I'm making a rectangle size with this. Evil Tooth Fairy, this is the colorway Ube. This is Lion Brand ice cream yarn. It is a 3-weight, 100% acrylic, machine washable and dryable. And I am using a G6, a 4 millimeter hook with this. It calls for a larger hook, and I feel like for me, that larger hook size is it just doesn't work as nice. The stitches are too loose. I really like this with a G6. It's one of my favorites for working with a 3-weight, a 4 millimeter hook. So anyhow, breaking the rules. I'm not following the label. I'm doing a G6 on this. So anyhow, I'm going to be putting some stuff up in the storage area in the loft as well. So as a lot of you guys know, I do some winemaking and I also do some canning. And I have a lot of empty carboys. You know those 5 gallon or not metal, they're glass jugs that you use for winemaking. Does anybody know what those are? They're called carboys. And I have a bunch of those that are empty. You kind of use them for the process. And I have some of them that are chilling in my living room. Now some of them are filled with wine. Um, the wine ones won't be going out in the yarn barn, but my empties and my bucket and my bottle cleaning rack that where they dry, all that, I'm going to be putting that out in the loft of the barn. Just kind of getting it out of the spare room, out of the living room, that kind of thing. And then I have a bunch of extra canning jars. So the way that I do my canning is I will can in big batches. So a couple years ago, I got a good deal on peaches. This is an example. And I ended up getting 100 pounds of peaches. I know that's a lot of peaches. Y'all, my feet were so sore from being in the kitchen for 2 days, working up 100 pounds of peaches. I made peach jam. I made whiskey peach jam. I made peach slices. I made peaches for cobbler. You name it. I did the whole blanching, peeling, slicing, chopping, dicing, jelly making, all the things. So, anyhow, I have enough peach jam and peaches to last me for a while. It's just the two of us, you know? And so, anyhow, I don't have to do peaches for a while now. But as we are using up those jars, I end up with a lot of empty canning jars. Yes, Mom. Thank you. Right here. This is the best true statement right here. I don't think of it as a fault though. I think of it as kind of a wonderful thing. So anyhow, as we have all of these empty canning jars, I just need a place to store 'em. I have a lot of them in my office in a cabinet, and they're just taking up a lot of room. So basically, I fill up all the jars, then we use up all the jars, and then I store them until I'm ready to do another big batch of whatever, you know? And so that's kind of how I do my canning. It goes in spurts. Now, there's some things that I have canned and I won't can anymore because it takes too much energy for me. And I feel like although the fresh canned is so much better, it's just so much work. So, an example of that, I no longer can corn. I buy cans of corn. We go through it too fast, and I just no longer do it. I still will continue to do pickled okra. I really love pickled okra. I do pickled asparagus. I do Bloody Mary asparagus. That's really good. I do a variety of different stuff. Of course, jams and jellies. I tried making grape jelly one time. Yeah, I'll never make grape jelly again. Grape jelly was a no-go in this household. We'll just let Smuckers continue to do their thing. So, but the other jams I really enjoy making because I can put my own little twist on them. I like making Christmas jam. It has like cranberries and cherries and whatever other fruits I've got laying around. So, yeah, no more canning of corn. The other thing that we eat a lot of around here is pickled beets. Pickled beets. From experience, put a newspaper ball or a bit of toilet paper towel in the jars when you store out in the shed. Oh, why is that, Tammy? Is that to keep like the dust from getting on the jars? So when I have my jars, let me tell you how I do it. I have you know when you buy the canning jars and you have the little cardboards that they come in? I save all of those because, in addition to being nothing in moderation, I am also a bit of a pack rat. Okay. I'm sure a lot of you are picking this up about me. So anyhow, I save all those boxes. So what I do with my empties is I put them upside down in those cardboards that come from when I bought the canning jars. Does that make sense? So they're each going to be in the cardboard. Keeps musty odors and smells out of the jars. Oh, very good tip, Tammy. Thank you. Um, Kathy said, my friend and I picked 6 bags of peaches in 1 year. It took us a week. Yeah. Kathy, I don't have a friend to help me pack these. Yeah, it's a whole thing. I really like making strawberry jam also. So, Evil Tooth Fairy said the memory of burnt sugar from jam making, homie. Yeah, it's definitely a thing. So when I'm on or off of whatever, when we're on the time right now, when I have 2 hours ahead of work, that's typically when I will do my canning because I don't have to be at work until 10. And so we're officially on that time, and I'm feeling not so much pressure. It gives me an extra hour in the mornings to fiddle fart around here before I have to go to work. I think my grandpa used to say that. I don't know. Sorry. So anyhow, I'll do my canning in the morning, not on days that I have live, but no more canning corn. We go through a lot of pickled beets, and I did pickle beets, and gosh, they were so good. But the amount of work that went into pickling beets, oh lordy. Pickled beets, we go through them too fast. That is one thing I will not be canning any more of. So yeah, there's that. Um, so yeah, there's a few things that I don't. I really like making my own rotel. That is one of my favorites. But again, when I do my rotel, I do it in huge batches. So um, I'm guessing you can't sit still at all. I do sit still. I sit in this chair right here and I crochet. But as I'm sitting in my chair, I'm like, I'm always doing something. I'm not one for doom scrolling. I really I'm usually very productive with the time that I have, whether it's crocheting. That's kind of my downtime. I'll sit here in the chair, but it's pretty rare that I sit in a chair and like watch a movie without doing something or watch a show with Mr. Wheeler. Like he'll be over there and he'll be on TikTok or Book of Faces doing his thing. And I'm over here getting stuff done. I do a lot of crocheting. So that is kind of my downtime. Hey, JT, good morning. Tindara, welcome in. Thank you so much for the follow. Um, Appreciate you being here. Sweet Grace, good morning. Welcome in. Grace, I'm loving all your videos. I'm missing a lot of your lives because of work, but I love seeing all the things that you're making. So much fun. Y'all, Sweet Grace, this sweet gal right here, she is a wonderful crocheter on TikTok here, and she has a YT as well. But she makes beautiful cardigans and um, all sorts of sweaters and that kind of stuff. So I really enjoy her channel. Jennifer said, same. I'm sitting here doing something, right? It makes me feel productive. I don't feel guilty for sitting in my chair because I'm actually getting stuff done, right? That's what it is. Jalome's good morning. Welcome in. Thank you so much for the heart. We are becoming the 144th member of the fan club. Let's see. Wait, what was that about dill beans? This summer I'm doing dill beans for the first time. I made dilly beans. Is that what you mean? They're like pickled green beans. I did make those. However, there was some spice in that recipe that I did not care for. And if I ever do dilly beans again, I think I'm going to use my pickled okra recipe. I prefer that. And so I think I'll do that. Um, I do make pickles, guys. I make bread and butter pickles and I make regular dill pickles. However, I no longer can. I do refrigerator pickles. I prefer those. We have an extra fridge out in the shop, and I have had a horrible time growing cucumbers. I know a lot of people around me grow beautiful cucumbers. I'm very inconsistent with my watering. We're not on a water system, and I rely on the rain a lot. And so I'm to the point now where I'm not even going to try to grow cucumbers. They are off my list. I just get so frustrated with them. But the Mennonite market that we have here, guys, they have the most beautiful produce. My mom has been there. Hey, Gigi, good morning. Welcome in. Um, so what we'll do, the Mennonite community up there, they grow produce better than I can even pretend to grow produce. So, I love supporting their little community. I say it's the store, but they've got like a country store where you can go and pick up your produce. They have the most beautiful lettuce, certain times of year, zucchini. I will put some zucchini in probably this year. So pretty much the only thing I'm growing around here, I'm in Alabama, northeast Alabama. We're in zone 7B, and I like to grow zucchini, and I like to grow tomatoes. Now, with that being said, the only tomatoes that I plant are like cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes, because the big old tomatoes, I've always dealt with blossom end rot. Again, it's due to my inconsistent watering, the bugs, all that. And when you go to the Mennonite market, you guys, you can get beautiful tomatoes. They grow them in their hot houses. Like, I could go right now and get tomatoes that are absolutely gorgeous. Um, their produce is just spectacular. And I'll tell you, I have tried to grow those big tomatoes, and I am horrible at it. And so it just becomes like a source of frustration. And you guys know I try to keep it very positive in my life. And if I'm frustrated with garden bugs and, uh, you know, tomatoes that aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, it just becomes frustrating for me. Tony Ann, good morning. Welcome in. Thank you so much for the heart me. So, with working full time, our place here is technically a homestead. It is designated as that. It has all the whatever paperwork, but my husband and I, we are really not homesteaders. I like a lot of things that a traditional homesteading family would do, right? I enjoy canning, but I like all my high tech stuff, and I would never want to be off the grid. I appreciate solar and all that kind of stuff, but I'm sitting here right now, you guys. I have 3 TVs going in front of me. I have 2 iPhones going and my tablet right now as I'm just sitting here doing this live. And I like that. I like being able to live stream my bird feeders and the deer camera and all those things. And all of that takes uh, a lot of electricity, a lot of internet, all those things. And so, yeah, even though we're a homestead, there's a lot that I will never probably do. I like the modern amenities, and so, I kind of do the things I like, and the stuff that I don't, I like to outsource that stuff. So when it comes to growing tomatoes, that's right. I outsource that to the little Mennonites down the road that have their beautiful farm stand, and I go and I support their small business, and I buy their tomatoes and zucchinis and lettuce and all that good stuff from them, and it's all fresh. They go out in on the farm that morning, and they pick it and they bring it into the farm stand, and I get there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I love their produce. So with my pickles, I've gotten to the point where it's like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna even try to grow cucumbers. I do not do well growing cucumbers. And rather than fight with them, those little plants, I go and I get my big grocery bag and I fill it with all the perfect pickling cucumbers right there at the Mennonite market. And it's perfect. And I'll do a big batch of pickles. I will do a big batch of dill pickles, refrigerator pickles, and then I'll do a big batch of the sweet bread and butter pickles. Jamie doesn't like those as much. Oh, my husband, sorry. Mr. Wheeler doesn't like the sweet ones, but I really like the sweet ones. So even yesterday, I for lunch I had a wrap. I put a little tortilla, and I put some um I had some salami, so I put some salami in that. And then I did, What else did I put in there? Oh, I put a little cheese, and then I wanted it to be a little zingy. You know, sometimes you just need a little zing in your life. Yeah, I put some bread and butter pickles, some of those canned refrigerator ones that I make. I put that on there, and then I put a little sweet onion teriyaki action, the little Subway stuff. Ooh, that was a good wrap, let me tell you. It was the perfect amount of zing. Look, I'm done with my skein. How about that? All right, I'm gonna try on a new skein here. Let's get a new yarn going. And I need to measure again, y'all. I've been yickety yakking and I hope I didn't go too far. We were at 21 inches the last time. Hopefully we're right on the money. We might be ready to start decreasing on one side. So let's measure. I can't grow anything aside from beans and cherry tomatoes. My dad grows cukes, beets, and zucchini. I like doing zucchini. We're at 22 and a half. So we have one more row before we start a decrease. But I'll tell you what, Tammy, I'm right there with you. I have had horrible luck growing cucumbers. So I don't even try now. Let me put my label over here in my stash. I'm keeping track of all my yarn labels, y'all. So at the end of the year, we're going to know how much yarn I used. I did tally it up for um, last year. I don't know if I ever even shared with you guys. Don't ask me because I don't remember what it was. There's that. Um, but I save all my yarn labels so I can see how much we crochet every year. Okay, so I turned my work. When we're on our last, I'm making a 23-inch wide, Michelle. I'm going to be adding 1.5-inch border to each size. So each side. So the size blanket that I'm making is actually going to be a 26 by 36-inch wide blanket. This is the perfect size for a NICU isolette cover. So that's what I'm making. I'm making a NICU blanket. Not necessarily to go with the family. The families do take the blanket sometimes, but mostly to go on top of the isolette. So the isolette is that big acrylic box that the babies are in. It's got two holes on the side the nurses put their hands in, or the families. And then over the top, they like to put some kind of a blanket that will help to block out the light. And it'll also help to kind of reduce some of the noise there in the NICU. And so that's why they like having these blankets. A lot of the blankets that they have there at the hospital, they don't cover the whole isolette. They're too small or they're too wide. And so when they put them over the top of the isolette, what happens is the blanket hangs down. And then when the nurses are trying to put their hands in, that blanket is in the way. So these ones fit perfectly across the top. Now, every isolette is different. There's different models. So, and not every hospital will use isolette covers. Oh, Mama Bluebird's at the box. I hope they start building a nest. We're live streaming one of the bird houses. Last year we had two houses of baby birds, baby bluebirds that we got to see on camera. So anyhow, sorry, squirrel. But yes, this size I'm making right now is 26 by 36. Before the border, I make it uh, 23 by 33. And then I add 3-inch border, 1.5 inches on all sides. I get my ice cream yarn from Lion Brand. I go on their site and that's where I get it from. So here we go. I'm starting with a slip knot on my hook. I'm going to do a standing double as we're getting started. So the first stitch we're going to put right into this space between the first and second stitch starting out. And I'm going to do a standing double. That's right. It's time for Mr. Thumb. So slip knot on our hook. You want to hold your tail. I'm going to wrap my yarn around once, so we have 2 loops on our hook. Again, keep this secure. If you let go, what happens is that's going to spin off, and you're going to be back down to 1 loop on your hook. So if you're first learning how to do a standing double, securing that tail is very important. So I yarn over, we've got 2 loops. I'm going to go down through that space. Now my hand is at a weird angle. I can't crochet like this. So we're going to enlist the help of Mr. Thumb. I twist my hand forward and I have Mr. Thumb over here hold that tail. Now, if Mr. Thumb lets go, we'll be back down to one loop, but you can see I've got two loops here on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So we have a total of 3 loops on our hook. Again, I kind of hold this tail, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. That is our standing double crochet. Slick as snot. Isn't that cool? Okay, so now we need 3 more double crochets right into that space. Now, friends, if you don't like doing the standing double, there's lots of other options you can do right here. You can start with a chain of 2 or a chain of 3 if you prefer that method. That is totally acceptable. Some people like to do a stacked single crochet. You also could do that right there as well. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter. And the reason why is because we're going to come back and we're going to attach that border of our blanket right to that first stitch. So that stitch that I just made is going to get covered up anyhow. But I like to do a standing double, mostly because I get geeked out about it, mostly because I like talking about Mr. Thumb. And here we go. So our edge has 4 double crochets and we'll attach the border there. That's our little cluster. As we start moving across, we're going to skip to the next space. This is called a granny cluster. We're going to put 3 double crochets right into that space. I'm not going to do any chain or anything. We're going to go right in there and put 3 double crochets. You know what? I think Mama Wheeler used to say that, stitching. I think that was her little phrase, is where I learned that from. Y'all, my grandparents had some crazy sayings, and my mom had some crazy sayings. So, yeah, I kind of have some of those, but you know. So again, no chain, skip to the next space, do your granny cluster, 3 doubles, and we're just going to crochet that all the way across. Leah, thank you so much for reminding me, and thank you for modding this morning. I appreciate all of your help. And all the other mods that are here. We have a fabulous group that helps out in the mornings. I am not going to be live tomorrow, guys. I have a doctor's appointment. Nothing serious. Do not fret. It's no big deal. Every 6 months, I have to go back to the rheumatologist just to get my little follow up. I already did my blood work. My blood work, I'll tell you, already looks great. So I don't expect any surprises when I go to the rheumatologist. But anyhow, it's my 6 month rheumatologist follow up tomorrow at 8 a.m. And anyhow, we'll be back on Thursday. Okay, we'll be back Thursday again, 7:30 Central. On Thursday, we're going to be making some dish scrubbies because I ordered some yarn for Mary Max from Mary Maxim, and I got their little surprise package that you got. It's kind of a hit and miss with their surprise bundles, and I only do them every now and then. But one of the yarns that came in there is some scrubby yarn. So when I talk about scrubbies, guys, this is what we're making. This is the yarn that I got from them. Can you see that? It's that plasticky yarn that you use for dish scrubbies. And so what I did is I put the scrubby on one side and then I put cotton on the other side. So that's what I'm going to be making tomorrow, are these scrubbies. This yarn, I will tell you, is a real pain to make. It's really rough. If you're sensitive to textures, you're not going to like this at all. And honestly, I don't really like it. I prefer the cotton, but it came, and so I feel obligated that I need to use it. I don't know how much I'm going to use it. I got like 6 skeins of this stuff, but I'm trying to make the best of it. So anyhow, I like it where it's cotton on one side. We're going to put a hanger on this also. So that's what we're going to be doing on Thursday, is making these. There is a tutorial on my page of how I make my scrubbies. Like I said, I also make them with the scrubby yarn on one side and then regular cotton on the other for like facial rounds. Of course, you can use them for scrubbing anything, machine washable, dryable, all that stuff. But it's so scratchy, but it kind of feels cool after you get it done. So, yeah, anyhow, that's what's on deck for Thursday. So I make them in 2 pieces, you can see here. We'll do a lot of talking about that. Um, yeah, they make great exfoliators. Yes, Music Girl, absolutely. So, and I give a lot of them as gifts. I give them out as a 3-pack, um, for family or friends or whatever. Oh, there was another little Carolina chickadee looking at the birdhouse. Yeah, so they're great in the shower, bathroom, exfoliators, kitchen, whatever. Diana, the baby blanket that I'm making this morning, this is called the corner to corner granny stitch, and it's kind of, I've gotten a little far on it, but we started right here in the corner. We're making it big. We're going to make it 26 inches by 36 inches. Um, Ellie, my corner to corner will not come out square because I'm making a rectangle shape. So what I do is I start right here in the corner, and I start with a magic ring, and then I put 5 double crochets into that magic ring. And the reason why is because we want our granny cluster, the 3, and then on each side we want 1 and 1. That is where we will attach our border. Then as we work up the sides, we do 4 double crochets. And as we work along in the middle, we do granny clusters that have 3 double crochets. So along this edge, we will be doing our border. So what I'm doing right now is I'm crocheting it to a total of 23 inches. My blanket is going to be 26 inches wide. Once I get to that part, which we're almost there. I always think of Twister, that movie Twister. We're almost there. We're almost there. I'm at 22 inches right now, like 22 and a quarter ish. So I have one more row. Okay. Once I get that, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop increasing on one of the sides. And so one side is going to start going up like this, and it's going to be stay like even. And the other side is going to get taller. And so I have a tutorial on this of how I do my you'll have to look. I don't think it's one of the pinned videos, but you can see we made a like smaller square. Hang on, let me get my ring of madness here. One of the rings of madness. I'll show you. Over on my YT, if you look for a video like this is Royal Gorge. I talked through how to do the increase and make it a square. But then I also talked through how to do a rectangle. There's another one. Oh, that's the peacock, uh, or I don't know if I have my rectangle one here. But anyhow, there is, oh, look, it's the 6-7 square. 6-7. Anyhow, squirrel. Sorry, y'all. Yeah, so look for a video. I talk through and explain how to do this. The other tutorial that I highly recommend is Hooked by Robin. It has a fabulous tutorial of this, and she explains it in detail, how she does hers, and it's really a great tutorial. So anyhow, we've got to keep going, but what we're going to do is we're going to increase on one side, and then we're going to start decreasing on one side, where basically we don't make it any bigger, and we're almost there, and I'll kind of explain that. Okay. But this is the corner to corner granny. I use this a lot for my baby blankets, for the NICU blankets. It's really a fun pattern to do. It works up quickly. It's great when I don't wanna have to, like, think about stitches, like, if I'm watching a movie or something with Mr. Wheeler, I can just do this, and it doesn't require a lot of effort on my part. However, there have been times where I've been sitting here just doing these granny stitches, and then it's like, "Oh, shoot, I totally went too far. I was supposed to not be increasing," and then I have to frog out some rows, so there is that hazard, I guess you could say. But in all, it's good. And I love how the border turns out on this blanket. I think it's really pretty. And so it's just a fun pattern to make. Now, this colorway that I'm using today, this is Lion Brand ice cream yarn. Yeah, Sparky, that orange yarn that I just showed is called Royal Gorge. This one that we're doing today is ice cream. It's Lion Brand. I get it from them, and it's a 3-weight yarn. It's 100% acrylic, machine washable and dryable. So it's great for baby blankets because mom and dad can just chuck it in the wash and wash it up. It washes nice. But this is the colorway Ube, and I'm using a G6, like a G6, 4 millimeter crochet hook. And it's my favorite hook size to use with this yarn. I really love it. So, anyhow, it's just kind of one of my main staples for baby blankets. I've kind of always got one of these in the background working. And so it's definitely a fun little stitch to do. Um, I couldn't get my drop it like it's hot corner to corner to do a rectangle instead of a square. My decreases were sharp. I know I had some other people mention that as well, Mary. I don't know. When I did mine, it worked out square, but I think it may have been, I don't know, maybe a tension thing or something. Um, I love the concept of the drop it like it's hot granny, but so many people struggled with it that I don't really know. So I definitely recommend this one. I don't know if I recommend the drop it like it's hot as much, just because I've had several people message me and they're like, mine didn't work. So, and I looked at their stitches and their stitches all seemed right. It just seemed like the ones that I saw, it was maybe an issue with too tight of tension. So, I don't know. This blanket right here is basically the same stitch. You just modify one stitch, so it should work exactly the same. But for whatever reason, a lot of people struggled with that. So I get it. Hey, Shan, good morning. What ply do you use? Pink Sky, this is a three weight, 100% acrylic yarn. I don't know how many plies are in it. I guess we could try to pull it apart and see. It looks like it has three on this one. Three strands make up this three weight yarn. But it's a really nice yarn. This is Lion Brand Ice Cream in the colorway Ube. So, oh, I'm getting a little hoarse this morning, guys. I gotta pause for a little coffee drink. Hang on one second here. Victoria, thank you so much for the heart me. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Tuesday. It's terrific Tuesday. Cheers, y'all. Let me get some coffee. I've been talking too much. I'm not used to talking this long. I know, Sparky. I think I've only been on for an hour though, and I'm already hoarse. I'm gonna have to get my exercises in or something to get back used to going live for 2 hours. Hey, Susan. Good morning. Welcome in. Hope everybody's having a great week. We're working on a little baby blanket this morning. I will not be live tomorrow, guys. I have my rheumatologist appointment, so you'll be without me tomorrow. But do not worry. We will be back on Thursday. Thursday, we're going to do some dish scrubbies. JT said we'll do some vocal warming on Thursday, right? I know. I need to do some da 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 da, or however those go, right? Hey, Vicky. Good morning. Welcome in. Sasha. Good morning. Welcome. So yeah, we're gonna do that on Thursday. Thursday, we're gonna make some dish scrubbies. I haven't done scrubbies for a while. I will tell you all, it's a little sentimental when I work on dish scrubbies or facial rounds, whatever you want to call them. These things right here, these little guys. My very first time going live, I worked on dish scrubbies. I was so scared. I was so scared to go live, y'all. And I was making these, and people were watching and asking questions. I was sitting here on my couch talking to myself for the first bit. And then all you friends came and rescued me. And that was in July, what, like a year and a half ago, the first time I went live. But that was the first thing I ever did was I made scrubbies on the live. And I made a lot of friends over that time. I made a lot of friends that day that helped me out with going live. There was so much I didn't know. And I'll tell you, I'm still learning about going live, but, yeah, we're much better off than we used to be when I first started. Mitra said, "I love your scrubby pattern." Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Blake, aren't these pretty? This is the colorway Ube. It's just so magical, right? So pretty. It to me, it's like unicorn colors. So yeah, but I get a little sentimental whenever I work on scrubbies on the live just because it brings me back to that point. I thought the day that I went live, I really thought, this is a one and done kind of thing. We're never going to do this again. But there were so many people that watched me. I know it does seem like ages ago, mom, right? Yeah, my mom has scrubbies. Leah has scrubbies I gave her. I've given a lot to family and friends. And then JT has some of my scrubbies. The other scrubbies I have, I do with scrubby cotton. So it's scrubby cotton on one side and then regular cotton on the other. I put a little tag. They're really fun. So yeah, Hannah, I have a box I got to get shipped off to Hannah, and she has some scrubbies in her box. Hannah's over in France, so I need to stop procrastinating and get my you know what in gear. But I did get Leah's box sent off yesterday, so that was a good thing. So, guys, when we are on Gina, good morning. Welcome in. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. Friends, if you are new to the channel, I guess I should also mention my name is April. And I'm a hobby crocheter, and I come live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings, except for tomorrow, doctor's appointment. We won't be live tomorrow, but we'll be back on Thursday. We're going to make dish scrubbies. It's a fun little stocking stuffer, if you need presents for a teacher gift, anything like that is so easy. And they work up quick. I give these away in a 3-pack. I'll have how I uh, give them away and stuff on Thursday, and we can kind of talk through that. But yeah, they're fun to make. So as we're working on this baby blanket, hey Granny, good morning, welcome in. Amanda, good morning, welcome. Laurel, good morning. Thank you so much for the follow. Miss Mary said, my sister has me make some every year for her Christmas. Yeah, they're really nice because you can chuck them in the washing machine and wash them up. Um, I really like the cotton ones. I'll have those to show on Thursday. But I'm trying to use up this yarn. I've never used this yarn. It was so rough on my hand. Um, I get my scrubby copy cotton from Hoblob, and I think Yarn Inspirations has the Red Heart as well. Sometimes they have it at Wally World, so you can get it there also. But there's different places for it. This plasticky yarn I'm using is Stitch Soak Scrub, 100% nylon, and it's Lion brand. So you could get that there also if you want this, where it's like this. But Hoblob also has this type as well, where you can get the nylon. So either way. Okay, so here we are to the corner. As we are doing our corner, for the sides here, we have done 3 double crochets as a granny cluster in each of the space. When you get to the corner, instead of doing 3, we are going to do 4 stitches. Okay. So the 4th stitch right here, this will be where we attach our border. So right along here, that's why we have the 4th stitch. As you get closer on your size, we're going to pause and I need to measure this again. I'm very close. I'm going to be making a rectangle size blanket. Now this little guy, we've gotten so wide, he doesn't even fit on the screen. But this is where we started right here. And I've just been increasing back and forth, back and forth. So let me measure this. When I get to 23 inches, what we're going to do is we're going to stop increasing. I'm still at 22 inches. Let me make sure I'm stretched out here fully. No, it's 23 inches. Okay, so we're at 23 inches. My baby blanket, I need it to be 26 inches by 36 inches. So clearly that is a rectangle shape. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop increasing on one side and I'm going to start um, decreasing on one side. Okay, so we're going to make it so that it goes up into a rectangle. So as I'm coming out of this stitch, what we do is we do our same thing where I chain 2. Now, some people prefer to chain 3. If you chained 3 on your edge right here, you're going to want to chain 3 again. What I like to do is I like to, I know, Leah, get ready for some shocking. We need to get our little stitch markers. I don't have a green stitch marker. It must be actively deployed. Okay, so we're going to use a red stitch marker. We're going to use a yellow. Pretend this is green. Okay. I feel like I'm teaching a kindergarten class. Okay, kids, pretend this is green, even though it's yellow. So in your mind, red means stop. I'm going to put a red stitch marker on the side that I no longer want to increase. The green or yellow is my go side. So we're going to put that on the side that we want to keep increasing. So right now, before I forget, I'm going to tell myself, April, do not increase on this side. This side, however, we want to keep getting larger. So we're going to make one side shorter and one side longer to get our rectangle shape. So I'm going to put my yellow, aka green, into this side. Okay. So that way, as I'm flipping back and forth, Hannah. Yeah, mom, did you see Hannah's comment? Stitch markers are the only thing April uses in moderation. That's right. That's right. Oh my gosh, you guys. You're killing me. Yes, yellow, slow down and check. There you go. See, Sparky's got my back all over here. Hey, Jules, good morning. Lulu, good morning. Welcome in. Oh, y'all. See, this is what happens when we start having 2 hours. We have too much time to play and screw around on the live. And we're going to have more friends come in. Marla, good morning. Welcome in. Welcome in. Okay, so same thing we're going to do though. We're going to do our chain of two. Now we're going to turn our work just like we did before. Okay, so again, this is our red side. We're not going to increase. So what we were doing before is we were putting 3 more double crochets into this space. Instead, we do not want to increase. We're going to hop right over here to the space in between, and we're going to start with our 3 double crochets over here. So what we have done is we've essentially rounded this corner. So as we start working up, let me see if I can make this so it's like straight so you guys can get the visual. Okay. So here is the bottom of our blanket. Now we're going to start going up like this only on one side. Okay. So as we keep going, we're going to keep making it up, 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 up. But this is going to stay very straight like this. Okay. So what I like to do now, I had put my stitch marker here, but what I really like to do is I like to mark this very corner. So the very corner of our blanket is where we did this turning chain and the very top of this stitch. So that is where the corner of my blanket is going to be. I pop my red stitch marker in there. In Arizona, yellow meant speed up. Absolutely, right? Just a Gen X girl. Yellow's like, hurry up, you're gonna miss it. Around here, we have a bunch of old timer lollygaggers though, and they start slowing even before it turns yellow. They're like, oh, I think it might be turning yellow. I better start to slow down. Yeah, it's a whole thing around here, especially the old farm boys that are moseying around in their old pickup trucks. Yeah. If you all are city drivers and you come here to visit me, you're like, oh my gosh, you guys should hear Mr. Wheeler. We're from Arizona, and in Arizona, in Phoenix particularly, it's like you go all out, and there's no room. You lollygag, you're going to get run over. Let's put it that way. Oh, so anyhow, yeah, it's a little bit of a cultural shock here when you come here. Okay, so now we're going to continue with those granny stitches, okay? And we're going to do 3 in each. Okay, so 3 double crochets. I'm not chaining or doing anything. Yeah, it's the most traffic jam we have here, you guys. You know when you're in the city and you get a traffic jam from like people going to work, rush hour. Our biggest traffic jam we have here, and this is why I have to leave early for my doctor's appointment, is because I could run into traffic problems tomorrow. Now, bear in mind, I'm driving on this country road tomorrow. What's the biggest thing that I could run into tomorrow that will slow my traffic down? You guessed it, a big old tractor. A big old tractor that's going like 5 miles an hour down the road, and he's taking up both lanes. And it's one of those things that you can't like go around them, and you just have to ride it out. And that's where we run into traffic jams around here, is good old Johnny boy out there on his tractor moving from farm to farm. So anyhow, hopefully tomorrow we won't hit a traffic uh, jam with the tractor situation. I do leave early for my doctor appointment. Peanut trailers are the worst. We don't have peanuts here. They do soybean, they do cotton, a lot of corn. Um, I don't know what else they do here, but that's what I see the most: cotton, corn, and soybeans. A lot of cornfields, and we have a lot of chicken trucks. Oh my gosh, a lot of chicken trucks. So they have these big chicken barns. We have Tyson, Pilgrim's Pride, and there's one more that are here. Big processing plants, and you get behind those chicken trucks. Anyhow, Michelle, I usually use about 1,200 yards for a baby blanket. This is a three weight, so I when I purchase, I usually plan to buy 1,200 yards. Yeah, but those chicken trucks every now and then, Mr. Wheeler and I will go on a road trip, and sometimes those chickens will escape the little crate things that they're in, and they do not meet a good end. Let's just put it that way. Wow, how did I get on this subject? We need to change the subject. Wyoming traffic jams are cows and antelopes. Isn't it funny the different things that are in each area? So fun. I think I'd rather have a tractor than yeah. Why did everybody get so quiet? April's over here talking about chickens on the side of the road. That yes, they did not meet a good end. That's right, Leah. Again, why did everybody get so quiet? Uh, yeah, we don't get a lot of road apples here. We do have, like I said, we have the Mennonites. They're up in Section, Alabama, and anyhow, I don't see as many road apples up there. But we're all thinking of chicken jokes in our head. I know we are, right? Oh, maybe 2 hours is too much. Uh oh, Veronica's calling me out. Uh, what are road apples? Road apples, Kelsey, are what happens when the horses are on the road. So the Amish, they're in their buggies and they don't use cars, they use horses to pull those buggies. So when you're at the if you go to like a parade and they've got the little carts that go around behind the horses that are in the parade and they pick up the little road apples. That's what Just a Gen X girl is talking about. She has a lot of Amish in her country that she's in up there. Up in her neck of the woods, there's a lot of Amish. We have a few Mennonite here. We have little Mennonite community. So anyhow, yeah, it's a little horse. They call them road apples. So yeah. Westy lover, good morning. Welcome in. Hey Arlene, good morning. Yes, that is what I mean right there. I'm trying to keep it a little PG on the live this morning. I've gotten a little derailed. Naughty, naughty April. But good morning and welcome in everybody. If you are new to the channel, my name is April. Today is our first day of being back on 2 hour live. I don't have to be at work until 10 Arizona time or 10 Alabama time, which is 8 Arizona time. So it gives me an extra hour to play and screw around in the mornings before I have to go to work. So, yeah, instead of a 1 hour live, y'all get me for 2 hours. And hopefully, it'll include more of our West Coast friends that we've been missing with the time change. So, it's yeah, it'll be kind of nice to hopefully see some of those old friends that we haven't seen for a while. But this morning, we're working on a little baby blanket, and I've been doing a lot of yickety yak. And we talked about the yarn barn this morning. My shoe racks for the yarn barn are supposed to come on Thursday. When I get done, are you going to do lives from there? No, I am not, Mary. So, as I was mentioning before, I'll kind of say again the yarn barn that Mr. Wheeler is helping me with. This is for yarn overflow. So, for those of you that have known me for a while, we have the Red Heart Super Saver Suites where mom and Papa Wheeler come to stay. Okay. So we still are having the Red Heart Super Saver Suites. All the yarn is still in the spare room. What had happened is I have so much yarn because I can't control myself. Clearly, I have an issue with yarn. Um, I had a lot of boxes and totes of yarn scattered throughout the house that were taking up a lot of room. So I pled with Mr. Wheeler and I said, let's put a little yarn barn. And this way I can get all these extra boxes and we'll have a little yarn storage that is not in the house. And so what we did is we went down to the local shed place, and I fell in love with this cute little barn that's a 10 by 20. And basically, I purchased it and had them bring it out here to the property, and they set it on, was it Friday? I guess we got it Friday. And so anyhow, the purpose of the yarn barn is for my yarn overflow. And you have as much yarn as our Uncle Mike's. Yes, Sherry, I think that is probably a fair statement. I don't know who Uncle Mike's is. I'm assuming it's some sort of store, but we're kind of remote where we're at. And so yeah, I have a lot of my own store. It's my little yarn store. So um I can't help it. I just keep buying it. I keep making lots of crochet stuff and I like having it. So, yes, honestly, sassafras, I have probably more yarn here than the big M store in our that is ours that's like an hour away. We have one over in Rome, Georgia. And honestly, I have more yarn personally than the M store does. But that's part of the reason why I have the yarn is because there's nothing around us that has yarn. Um, we call oh, you call it Uncle Mike. I didn't know that. So anyhow, Jeanette said it's cheaper than therapy. Yeah, it is probably well, I don't know. At the point that I'm at, therapy might be cheaper. So anyhow, let me talk about this ending stitch so I can turn and keep crocheting, and then I'll tell you all about this again. Okay. So here we are to the very edge. Now, this was where we have our increase. Okay. So this stitch marker in my mind is green, not yellow. And this tells me I still need to get bigger on this side. So as we're coming to this edge, you'll remember we have our 4 double crochets. We have the 3 for our granny cluster, and then we have our extra one right here that is going to be to attach our border. So I'm going to keep repeating that on this one side because we need 4 double crochets. This side, we are still increasing. We're making a rectangle. So the size that I'm looking for on this blanket before the border is 26 inches by 36 inches. And what I'm going to do, the way that I measure this is probably a little different than everybody else measures theirs. So as I'm going up this side right here, okay, most people would continue measuring this until they get it as tall as they want it. Now remember, on this side over here, we're keeping it very flat. So this side, we're no longer going to be increasing. And so what I'm going to do for this, because my blanket size is 26 by 36, I'm not going to fuss with measuring that long edge. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep going back and forth. That side's going to get bigger. This side is not going to increase. And I'm going to stack these rows up. When I get to 10 inches right here, that side over there will be 36 inches. So I take 36, I subtract 26, and that gives me 10 inches. So that tells me I need 10 more inches up this side, and I only have to be concerned with this dimension right here. Does that make sense to everybody how I'm calculating that? So if that's confusing, of course you can continue measuring this side, but our goal right now is we're going to keep getting taller this way and stay short on this other side. So again, this is an increase. I'm going to chain 2. Now some people chain 3 here. That is totally fine. Turn my work. And once again, yellow stitch marker, aka the green stitch marker, we're going to increase right here. So we need 3 double crochets on this side. So we're going to keep increasing on one side and then the other side will stay the same. Now I'm not going to chain or anything. I'm going to skip to this space right here and we're going to put 3 double crochets right into this space. Okay, so back to the yarn barn. So the yarn barn is for my overflow yarn. Now, with that being said, I want to be able to see what I have out there. And I want to be able to see the colors and all the things. So I built a yarn wall of cubes that is 10 foot wide. It's a little under 10 foot. And it goes up. What did I say it was, JT? Like 6 foot? So it's like 10 foot by 6 foot. And you can see a video for that if you're watching this morning on YT. There's a short. And if you're on TikTok, you can see that on my page. I just have been putting out these as we've been working on the yarn barn. So I'm not going to be going live from the yarn barn. Now, most people, if they put in like a she shed, right, a crafting space, they would go out there and work in their crafting space. For me, this is different. This is more like a storage room, okay? But I want it to be a nice storage room. I want it to be able to feel like I'm going to, a store to go look for yarn and see all the colors and be able to touch and feel and ooh and ah and say, oh, yeah, let's put this color with this color. And oh, kind of do that whole thing. So I'm going to put a little love seat out there, a little couch that's about 6 foot. So on one 10-foot wall, we have the yarn cubes. Those are already done. And then on the other side on the 10-foot wall, I'm going to put that little couch. So that way I can sit out there if I need to and basically go through stuff, open boxes, pick out yarn. I'll have a comfortable place to sit, right? I also am going to have that folding table out there. That way, if I get a box or I need to, do something, I can have that 8-foot table as a like workspace. But my goal is not to go out there and crochet. Okay, this is different. She shed is for your hobby of yarn collecting. Well, I mean, I think of a she shed as being more functional, right? Like I'm gonna go out there, it'll be insulated and have drywall and be climate controlled, and I can go out there and sit with my TV and crochet and have like a separate, unique space. And to me, this isn't really like that. This is more of a storage room, but I want it to be nice. So that is the whole point of the yarn barn. Um, the Wi-Fi does work out there because it is right off of our main house. However, I don't anticipate myself going out there and going live. Now, I will probably at some point try to go out there once it's done, and I'll try to do a live kind of chat on TikTok, probably not on YT because it'll be too hard. I can't do two phones. And I can take you through the yarn barn so you can ask questions and get the full effect while we're going live. The signal might be kind of spotty. I don't know how it'll work. And so we'll just have to see. Four Daughters said, you're insulating with yarn. Yeah, that's basically what my husband said. Um, of course, I have to be concerned with critters and bugs and all that stuff. So we're going to take the precautions. Everything has to be put in plastic, and I still have all of that to do. My next step for the yarn barn is I have ordered additional shoe racks. And some of you guys know I have shoe racks here in the house. And those shoe racks are what I put my yarn cakes on. And so I turn the cakes on their side like this. So when you look at them, they're on the wall stacked up and you can see all of the colors. You should put cedar planks out there. Oh, that's a good idea, Mary. I'll definitely do that. I'll look into that as well. Because I know they don't like that. I know the mice are deterred by mint. I have some of those packs coming as well. So anyhow, yeah, that would be really fun. The Wheeler Warehouse. That's it. That is it, Susie. I love that. The Wheeler Warehouse. So I have some big plans for out there, and there's going to be more to come. Obviously, it's not going to get done all instantaneously. I did way more on Saturday than I ever thought I would get done. And I will tell you, my crochet friends kept me motivated. JT's like, you can do more. Go get some more totes. Let's go. Cedar planks, lavender, and mint. There you go. That's it, Tammy. I have the mint packs already on order. I think they're supposed to come today. You need a Wheeler Warehouse sign. I do. I know someone who can make some signs, Miss Kelly. I know somebody that could do that for me, huh? So anyhow, the shoe racks, basically, you guys will kind of see this all come together, those that are here watching, but we're on the side of the couch. So on that 10-foot wall, ALT, they're a deterrent for mice. The mice don't like the mint. So I think it helps. Does it keep them fully out? No, you have to do other stuff as well. But we don't have a huge mice problem here. We have a lot of rat snakes, and the rat snakes keep that population in check. So We're pretty fortunate that we don't have too big of an issue here, but we are in the country. So yeah, are the mice here? Absolutely, they're here. And we have those little pack. Uh, I guess they're not pack rats. They're voles. We have little voles. Ants and spiders dislike mint as well. Oh, okay, good to know. Holly, good morning. Welcome in. Thank you so much for the follow. If you are new to the channel, my name is April. We are working on a little baby blanket this morning. We're doing a lot of chat about the new yarn barn that we're building, my husband and I. We purchased the yarn barn, but now we're working on the inside. I will tell you, Michelle, Diesel and Mo, they really like the voles. They spend a lot of time digging holes in the pasture trying to get them. And sometimes I will say that they are successful. RIP moles, voles, I guess I should say. So, anyhow, these shoe racks that I get from the Zon, I have some of them in my Red Heart Super Saver sweets with cakes on them. And we're going to do that same principle out there in the yarn barn. So basically, we have a 10-foot wall that's on the opposite side of the yarn wall. And I'm going to put my 6-foot love seat there. So I have a spot for sitting. Okay. I'll probably put a little coffee table in front of it so I can put stuff on the coffee table. And then beside the love seat, we're going to put two of those um, full size shoe racks. And on those shoe racks, they work perfect for your yarn cake storage because you can turn them on their sides and you can see all of the different colors as you are looking at them. So I really love the shoe racks. And then you know how most normal people like put a pretty picture above their couch? Well, y'all know I'm not most normal people. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to uh, modify. We're going to do a little redneck innovation on those yarn shoe racks. And we're going to make them a little shorter so that they can fit above the couch. And so above the couch, instead of having a pretty picture, I'm going to have a yarn cake wall. So as you look at the couch, the whole back of it will be all yarn cakes. That then I can go out there and pick up a yarn cake when I want and, kind of have a full effect. I think it's going to be kind of cool. Yes, that's what we do a lot of around here, Miss Kelly. I call it redneck innovation. Um, Down in Florida, they call it hucklebuck. That's the same kind of thing. It's where you Maggie calls it Jimmy rigging, right? You kind of rig it up and do that. So, okay, guys, here we are. We're to our side of our blanket. So, again, here is our red stitch marker. Red means stop. We do not want to increase. So, as you remember, on this side, we increased. We did our 4 double crochets. We don't want to do that. We want to make it so that it's straight. So, instead of putting 4 double crochets into this space, all I'm going to do is 1 double crochet. So right here into the space, 1 double crochet. This will be our border for the baby blanket. Now I'm going to chain 2 and we're getting ready to turn our work. So this is basically how you do the decrease when you get ready for that. So double crochet into the space. Now I'm going to chain 2 and we're going to turn and we're going to go back the other direction. So once again, as we're first starting out, instead of putting 3 more double crochets, we're going to skip to this space right here because we do not want to make this bigger. We want to keep this flat through here. And I'm going to put my 3 double crochets into this next stitch. So that chain that we did and that stacked the single crochets or the chain that we did right here, that is what is keeping our blanket flat. So basically, our blanket ends up being a 90-degree angle right here. This is the side of our blanket. This is going to continue to get taller. And until I get it to 10 inches right here, then I'm going to start decreasing on both sides. So now we're going to continue on this edge. And I'm just going to continue with the granny clusters. We're going to put 3 double crochets into each of these spaces. So I'm not going to chain. I'm just going to go right here to the next space, and we're going to do 3 double crochets. Get back on there. There's number 3. Okay, so when you put 3 double crochets into one space, we call this a granny cluster. Then we're going to move to the next space. Again, do not chain. Go right here to the next space, and once again, 3 double crochets. And we're just going to repeat that all the way across. So I think by this weekend on the Yarn Barn, my mission is to get the shoe racks all installed and then be able to start putting my yarn cakes on that shoe rack display. Um, it's gonna be I can envision it in my head. I think it's gonna be really pretty cool. It's gonna be pretty slick, I think. I already put 2 of them up over the weekend. Mr. Wheeler helped me, and I haven't done any pictures or anything of that. So, we will I'll wait until I have more and you can kinda see how it came to life and whatnot. I'll probably do another little video. I'm trying to do little progress videos. Thank you, Kelly. Yeah, I've been trying to do little progress videos. I'll be working, I get in the zone and I'm just like putting yarn away and then all of a sudden it's like, "Oh wait, I need to do a video and share with the friends what I'm doing." So I appreciate all of the comments. There's been a lot of comments on the videos. I have read all the comments. I'm sorry I did not reply to each and every one of you. I will tell you, after all that work on Saturday, I am exhausted. I know it doesn't sound like a lot of like lifting yarn should be strenuous, but let me just tell you, okay? Uh, old Wheeler over here spends a little too much time in the chair crocheting and doesn't get enough exercise. So I'm a little chunky. I'm a lot chunky. And I'll tell you, you start to do all of that moving around, and it was raining on Sunday. It was pretty humid on Saturday. My shirt was drenched. Oh my Lord, I was stinky, y'all. I was like, I can smell myself. This is no fun. This is why I like to sit on the couch and crochet instead of being out here doing all this. But um it needed to get done, and my house is already feeling a big relief because all that yarn was in this house. So all of the yarn, that's right, Miss Leah, all the yarn that I have out there, I don't SELL anything, guys. Everything I make gets donated either to the hospital, to retirement homes, the VA center, um, all those like Warm Up America programs that I help with. All of my yarn goes for donation. And so I do a lot to help out with up in Nashville to the shelter up there. And yeah, so I really love doing all those donations. That's what I'm gonna Lulu, I have some plans for out there. But you're on the right track, but I have something very specific I'm gonna do out there. And you'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I do have all my county fair ribbons. And there will be a little some magic happening with all that out there. So great thinking. I love where you're going with that. But yeah, I think you guys are gonna really dig it. And so I don't want to give it away and spoil the surprise and the fun. But yes, I do have some plans for that out there. Shelly, all of my yarn I'm going to be putting into plastic bags. And so I don't anticipate the humidity will be an issue because I'm going to take that precaution. A lot of the yarn already is in bags. The stuff that is not in bags will be bagged up. I'm also going to chuck one of these little guys in there. You can buy these off the Zon. These little moisture absorbers. So before I seal the yarn in the plastic, I'm going to also put in one of these little absorbers. And you get them a lot of times, like in your packages that come from wherever you're buying stuff at. But we're going to do that as a precaution as well. I don't anticipate any issues just because of putting it in plastic. I think it should protect it just fine. I was talking to my friend Maggie, Magical Unicorn. A lot of the yarn out there is going to be in totes. Um, yes, Nana, I'm going to be on for 2 hours, so we have another 30 minutes before I have to hop off to go to work. I've been on for about an hour and a half now, rambling and yakking away as we're working on this blanket. So anyhow, it gives us a little more time time to pick up some of our West Coast friends that we've been missing now with the time change. So, and I don't feel so stressed out. Sometimes when I'm trying to teach stitches, as you guys know, I love to do. Um, when uh, when I teach, a lot of times there's not enough time in an hour to really um, explain everything thoroughly, and so with having 2 hours. It'll give me more time to be able to kind of explain things and show more examples and talk through the stitches. So, it's definitely gonna be a welcome thing to be back to 2 hours. So, I don't have to be at work until 10, so I'll be hopping off at 9:30, Eastern, which is 10:30, or excuse me, 9:30 Central, which is 10:30 Eastern, and then going to work. So I'll have a half hour to, feed the dogs, feed myself, all that kind of stuff. But the downside of it, which a lot of you would probably dislike, is my hours for work now. I work 10 to 7 at night. So what I try to do is I try to have a dinner kind of planned out that I can just like pop in the oven because Mr. Wheeler gets off at 5. And so I just usually will eat dinner at my desk and I take a later lunch where sometimes I'll prep that dinner. Sometimes I do crock pot stuff, just something so that Mr. Wheeler doesn't have to wait till 7 because I'll be honest, I was still at work and Mr. Wheeler was sawing logs in the other room. He was sound asleep. So I do have to be conscious of that, but I love having my extra hour in the morning. It's just a very calm place to be, and I get to crochet longer, and I'm not so tired. And so it's really a kind of nice thing. I have already been on for an hour and a half, Nana. I've always already been on for an hour and a half. It's 9 o'clock here, and I came on at 7:30 my time. So I've been on for an hour and a half yickety yakking. So, anyhow, if you guys are new to the channel, my name is April and I am a hobby crocheter. Okay, here's our stitch marker, guys. The yellow, of course, is in place of green, so we're making our increase on this side still. So, I put 4 double crochets on this side. Now I'm getting ready to turn my work. So, I chain 2 and now we're going to turn our work. Once again, this is the side that we're still increasing on. So as I turn, we're going to go ahead and put those extra 3 stitches, those 3 doubles, right here in this side stitch. Okay, so 3 doubles, and then I'm going to start moving to the other spaces, and we're going to do 3 doubles, a granny cluster into each one. And I don't do any chains or anything. This pattern that we're working on today, guys, is called the corner to corner granny stitch. So we started down here in the corner, right here, and I've been working my way up as we've been talking. I had some of this blanket already done. So I started right here with a magic ring and I put 5 double crochets into that magic ring. And I'm increasing on one side. I'm making a rectangle side. So I increased on both till I got to a certain point. Now I'm increasing on one and I'm decreasing on the other and keeping it so that it's not growing on one side, basically. So I don't want a big square. I want a rectangle. As you work your side stitches, you're going to be doing 4 double crochets until you get to the point where you don't want to increase. So, this is the point now. This is the very edge where I turned and now I'm doing my decrease on one side. So, I'm still getting bigger on one side because this blanket is going to be a 26 by 36 and on this side right here, we're keeping it square. So, it's going to go up like this, okay? So, again, as I work my way across, all we're doing is the same thing. We're working that granny cluster, and a granny cluster again sounds fancy, nothing fancy about it. We're doing 3 double crochets, skip to the next space, and then again, 3 double crochets. Okay, so that's all we're doing in that space. And I'm just going to keep working that all the way across. This colorway we're using this morning is called Ube, and it is Lion Brand ice cream yarn. And it is a 3-weight acrylic. It's 100% acrylic. It's machine washable and dryable. I'm just letting the colors flow. Okay, so the yarn comes right like that when you get it. And we're not doing any color controlling. We're just crocheting right out of the skein, letting her do her thing. and it's just stacking up really pretty. It does a very beautiful striping effect. The ice cream yarn, they have lots of different colorways. It works great for this pattern. It really does. It's one of my favorites. They have pretty blues and pinks and mints and yellows, all sorts of different colors that you can use. And I've used them a lot. The blanket that I'm making this morning is a NICU blanket, and it is a isolette cover. So when you're in the NICU and the babies are in the acrylic thingamabobby, that's called an isolette. Some people call it an incubator, but it's an isolette in the hospital that I give these to. And for me, they need to be a specific size to fit on top of that isolette. So basically, what we're doing is we're making it kind of a big rectangle, and it's going to go right on top. And the reason why the nurses like to put the blankets on top of the isolettes is it helps to block out some of the light, and it helps to block out some of the noise, and it just makes it a little cozier for the babies in that isolette. So the blanket doesn't physically go inside with the babies, it's sitting on top. And then a lot of times what happens is when the families are leaving and taking their baby home, they will actually take the isolette cover with them. So, a lot of times they do go to the families. I gave her 28 isolette covers in December, and within the first month, they were all gone. They had all gone with families. That's a lot of babies to leave the NICU, especially since not all of them take them with them. But anyhow, I have more here for her, and I always kind of have one of these going in the background. There are times where I get off work and I'm just exhausted. Or like this weekend, I spent all day Saturday working out in the yarn barn, and I just didn't have a lot of oomph to do a whole lot of anything. I was just so tired. And this pattern very much lends itself to popping in a movie and just letting it play and kind of zoning out. You ever have those days where you're just like, I can't do anything, but I still want to be like productive? I think it's just a nice pattern to kind of fill those spaces. The size that I'm making is a 26-inch by 36-inch, and that is the size. The blankets, my sister-in-law is a NICU nurse down in Pensacola, and she asked me to make these and because a lot of the blankets that they had, they didn't fit very good on top of the isolettes. They were too big or not wide enough because they're rectangle. A lot of people would never make a 26 by 36 size blanket. And so that I think is the part that makes this kind of unique. Every hospital is different. Okay. So if you want to get into making isolette covers, number one, you need to check with your local hospital and make sure that it's something that they accept. Not all hospitals are the same. And so you could run into a problem where they don't want your blankets. Okay. So make sure you do a little legwork ahead of time and it's something that they will accept. Number two, there are different models of isolettes. So just like there's different models of coffee pots, right? Not all coffee pots are created equal. Same thing with isolettes. Some are more rectangle, some are more square. So if you're going to get into isolette covers, again, one of those things you need to ask at the hospital is what size are you looking for? If you know somebody who works in the NICU, my sister-in-law, she measured everything and requested that I do this based on the sizes that she gave me. And then when I sent them to her, she's like, "Oh my gosh, these are so perfect. We love them. Absolutely love them." So I just keep making them. So that is what I would recommend if you want to potentially make some isolette covers. It's a great way to give back to your community, to the families that are there in the NICU. It brings me a lot of joy to know that in some little way I am helping, a family that is going through a challenging time. And they can take it home as a little memory of their time in the NICU. So I really enjoy making it. It's personally rewarding for me not just to make it, but the feel good that goes along with that. So that's why I really enjoy making these. This pattern that I'm working on today is called the corner to corner granny. So the way that I started this is I started very down here in the very tippy top corner, the bottom, and I started with a magic ring. and I put 5 double crochets into that magic ring. It's a little hard to see, but we have 3 right here in the middle. That is our granny cluster, and then there is one on each side. The one on each side is where I will come back and attach the border to the baby blanket. We are live this morning, both on TikTok and on YT. We're always live on both. So you can go back and watch replays. I have some of these where I've made them, and some of the lives we attached a border. We put a little ruffle on it. That's basically what I'm going to do with this blanket. So as we start increasing all the way up. When we do our side stitch, we're doing 4 double crochets into the side. Again, that fourth stitch will act as that place where I attach the border. In between, we are doing a granny cluster. And, that's a fancy term, but all that means is I'm putting 3 double crochets into that one space. Okay. So 3 doubles. I'm not doing any chains or anything in between. And I'm just letting these colors flow. So I like to pick a variegated yarn like this. This is Lion Brand Ice Cream. And I just start crocheting, and however those colors come out is how it comes out. So I can sit here and veg in front of the TV, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Now we are to the point where I'm turning it into a rectangle. So what's happening, you can't see this on the live because it's too big for the screen, but this is where we started. And this is where I'm going up and making it square now. Okay. So we've squared off this edge. We're not increasing anymore on this side. However, I'm still getting bigger on this side right here. So see how this is still going up and up and up. I'm going to keep going higher on this side until I get to 20, or excuse me, 33 inches. And then at that point, I'm going to square off and we will start filling in this void right here. It's a little hard to see with the big blanket, but this is the concept basically here. And I've taught this before on the live. So over on YT, if you look for a video like this, this is where we taught the concept of the corner to corner. So for this square right here, this is, I love this yarn in Royal Gorge. It's one of the favorites that I have done for the teaching, this colorway. It's really fun. I love this yarn print from Hoblob. We started right here in the very corner. So just like this big blanket, we started here, and again, 5 double crochets, and then we got bigger. And then when we got to this side, remember how I said on this one, I'm decreasing right here? Same thing on this side. See how that mirrors that? And then when you get to a certain point, you start doing that on both sides so it comes down. This case, you can make this blanket either a square or you can also do it as a rectangle. So what I'm doing right now is a rectangle, and we're having kind of a chit chat day. This is my first day back going live for 2 hours. So we'll be doing a lot more of stuff. We'll probably do one of these, I'm sure, at some point where we're starting from scratch and you guys can follow along, and we'll do another little day of how to start the corner to corner. However, if you don't want to wait around for me and you don't want to look over on the live tab of the YT, Hooked by Robin has a great tutorial of this as well over on YT. I really enjoy her channel and I recommend you checking her out. So you could also just put in the old Googler or over on YT, corner to corner granny, and it's going to come right up. There's a lot of different tutorials on this. So definitely check that out. Eve and Rachel, good morning. Welcome in. Thank you so much for the follow. Mimi Lim asked a great question. Everybody crochets at different speed. The question is, how long does it take you to work on this? And Mimi, I will tell you, I can finish one of these in a day. Now, that day is basically working all day. So I, sit around here and crochet and have a little lunch, and I just stay on it. So um, I don't know the exact amount of hours, but I can do a full baby blanket in one day. That's working pretty nonstop though. So that's kind of how I plan it. But usually for me, 8 hours. I've been told I'm kind of a fast crocheter, so I've been crocheting for 41 years. So, everybody crochets at a different speed, but it's not a race. There's times where I just really am like hyper focused. I put on a good show on the TV, and before I know it, I'm like done with the blanket. And it's like, wow. You put on one of those marathons, like I could sit here and watch what's the Netflix one where they're in the pods? something like that, where it's got like 8 episodes to watch, and before you know it, I've watched 8 hours of television and crocheted. So, anyhow, here we are to the edge. Now remember, this side we have our red stitch marker. Red means stop, so we're no longer increasing. So, when we were on this side, we increased and we put 4 double crochets. This side, we're going to do it different, and we're going to not increase. So instead of putting 4 right here in this edge, we're only going to do 1. Yes, Kelsey, thank you. Love is Blind. I could put on a show like that and watch for, 8 hours and blink and the baby blanket's done. I get just totally lost, completely lost. So instead of putting 4, we're only going to put 1 double crochet right here. Now we're ready to turn our work. We're going to chain 2 and turn. When we turn, we're going to be working back the other direction. Once again, this is where our red stitch marker is. So do you see how this is flat through here? We want to keep stacking these up until we get it to the size that we want. In this case, I need 10 inches. When I get to 10 inches, the tall side of my blanket is going to be 33 inches. So once again, I don't put any more in here. I have to hop to the next space, and we're going to put 3 double crochets into this space. This is called a granny cluster. So as we're working along the side of the blanket here, the edge, as we're going along into each space, we're going to put a granny cluster, 3 double crochets. So I don't try to work into the top of this. It's just like if you were making a granny square, guys. So right into this space, we're going to put 3 doubles. Now I'm not going to chain or anything. I just go into that space. There's get back on my hook, mister. There's 1, 2, and 3 double crochets. Okay, so that's it. Move to the next and repeat that. 3 double crochets. Tracy, thank you so much for the heart me and becoming the 153rd member of the fan club. Aunt Kiki, welcome in. Thank you also for the heart me. Appreciate that. Guys, if you are new to the channel, my name is April. I come live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings at 7:30 Central Time. And right now we are on for 2 hours every day. So we'll have a lot of time to do stitch talk and get some more crocheting techniques and stuff in. Today, we're kind of taking it easy. Tomorrow, guys, I will not be on. Tomorrow, I have a doctor's appointment. I have rheumatoid arthritis. Do not fret. It's nothing serious. It's just my routine. I go every 6 months to see the rheumatologist and get the you're doing great. Adios. See you in 6 months. So I'm kind of more on a maintenance right now with my meds and all that. So I already had my blood work done. I kind of have had RA for so long that I can look at the blood work and go, yeah, everything's going to be fine. So it's just more of a routine for me to go in and do that. So I will not be live tomorrow. However, I will be back live on Thursday. Thursday, we're making dish scrubbies. So that's what these look like. I'm using a nylon on one side and a cotton on the other. So it's kind of a fun little combo. I do make 2 discs and I crochet them together. And I have this yarn that I want to use up. So scrubby day on Thursday. This is kind of sentimental for me when we do this. The very first time I ever went live, which some of you watched me that morning or that afternoon, I guess it was mid morning. It was July 5th, a year and a half ago. And I made these little scrubbies on the live. So we're going to do some more of those. I do have a tutorial for this pinned on my TikTok. If you want to make these, you can see that, but we're going to go through step by step how to make these on Thursday. So be sure and check that out. Again, friends, remember, if you are ever on the live and you see something and you say, oh, I wish I could see that again. I am live this morning on TikTok and on YouTube. My handle is Wheeler8Acres. And as you're looking at my channel, there are multiple categories. There is a category that says shorts, a category that says live, and a category that says videos. You are looking for the category that says live. And that's where you'll find all of the little replays. There's little pictures you can look through and all of that. Fast forward. Again, I work full time, guys, so I don't have a lot of time to make tutorials. I do try very hard to do the best that I can, and I do have some tutorials, but a lot of times people learn from me from the lives when I do my little stitch talk. So Thursday, we're going to be doing a lot of stitch talk as we're working on that dish scrubby. Okay, so that's what we have on deck. Nana said, "You crochet this fast with arthritis." I have finger mobility issues too, and I crochet. So yeah, it's so. Nana, there was a period of time for about 5 years that I couldn't crochet at all, and where it really affected me was right in through here. And you can see I'm pretty puffy there all the time. But with the meds that I take, I don't feel the pain. So for about 5 years, I would crochet maybe 15 minutes, and then I just couldn't do anything else. Hey, Velveteen, good morning. You've been a fan club member for a year. That is awesome. Thank you so much. So I'm fortunate that I finally was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. I don't want this to be all metal, nobody knew what was wrong with me. They thought I had, uh, for one point, they thought I had leukemia. I saw two different oncologists. I've seen multiple doctors. And finally, when I came to Alabama and got out of the Arizona healthcare system, I was diagnosed. And so my technical diagnosis is differentiated connective tissue disorder. I have markers of lupus and I have markers of rheumatoid arthritis. I just say I have RA because it's something that people know and understand better, but I have a combination of both that is what leads to my issue. So it's an autoimmune disease, and I take medicine for it. So tomorrow I go see the doctor, and like I said, don't worry, it's fine. I'll still be crocheting. He's got me all fixed up, and it's good. Francis, thank you so much for the friendship necklace. Patty, thank you so much for the love you so much. So anyhow, y'all, it's 9:28. I have to get ready to go to work. I have enjoyed spending 2 hours. Somebody asked me, where do I get my yarn from? And Leah answered perfectly in that I buy it everywhere. I buy from Webs, the Inbox store, Hoblob, Mary Maxim. I got a shipment yesterday. Hirschner's. Um, where else? Hobie. I have an order coming in from Hobie that's supposed to be here on Thursday. Um, did I say Webs? Any place for yarn, I get it all. I love it all, and everybody has different stuff. And so I really enjoy it. I collect yarn as much as I do my crocheting, so it's definitely a little vice of mine, but I love it. And there's worse things I could be doing for sure. So I don't mind. Hey, Dragon Annie, good morning. Welcome in. This yarn in particular, somebody asked where I got this from. I got this from Lion Brand. It is ice cream yarn. It's a 3-weight, 100% acrylic, and this is in the colorway Ube, and it's a really pretty yarn. I just let the colors flow. I'm using a G6 hook with it. That's a 4 millimeter hook. The yarn does call for an H8. And for me personally, I feel like an H8, a 5 millimeter is too big of a hook for this yarn. So I always use a 4 millimeter hook, G6. And I like saying G6. So there's that part as well. But yes, Lulu, we are back to 2 hours. So we're going to start seeing more of our friends we haven't seen for a while. Give us a chance to catch back up. Remember, Thursday, there is an event already made on TikTok and on YT. I still need to make it. I had to make these for a little picture. But we are working on dish scrubbies, one of the old Wheeler favorite things to make is our little dish scrubbies. So you could also use these for facial rounds. That's what we're going to be doing on Thursday. So doctor's appointment tomorrow, and I will see you all in a day. Keep watching for videos. I'll probably have more this weekend as I work more on the yarn barn. Thank you all so much for all of the love and support on that. I never know how people are going to react because I do have a lot of yarn. I have kind of an obsession. And I know sometimes people could be like, girl, what are you doing? Maybe y'all are thinking that in your head, but you're writing nice stuff on the video. So I appreciate it. Thank you for not making me feel like a little cray cray. So I've enjoyed being back to 2 hours so very much. Thank you for everybody who tuned in both on TikTok and on YouTube. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for all of the love and support. I appreciate all the taps, likes, shares, all of the gifts. Special shout out to our members over on YT who are always watching, along with our super fans and subscribers. I appreciate each and every one of you. Go forth, have a wonderful day. It's Terrific Tuesday, and I will see you all on Friday Eve, Thursday. Bye for now.